Welcome, everyone. Hope all of you at home are ready for a special night as we look to expand the emerging legacy of the Comic-Con Museum by introducing a second member to the Comic-Con Museum Character Hall of Fame. Opening in 2021, the Comic-Con Museum will create a permanent fixture of the world-renowned convention in San Diego. It will be a spectacle of modern pop culture, a place where people from every walk of life can experience the magic of Comic-Con year-round. Tonight's event wouldn't be possible without support from eBay as well as Bandai Namco, who lent a helping hand in bringing us incredible segments from across the globe, in addition to special guests and much more. We've got a lot of great stuff ahead, and while we wish we could all be celebrating together in person, our hope is to bring the joy of the Comic-Con Museum Character Hall of Fame induction right to your living room, or your laptop, or your phone, or your Xbox, or PlayStation. You know what? You get the idea. We're bringing it all to you. I'm Tony Maceo, and don't worry, I will not be talking for the entire 2 hours, but I will be here to bring you along for what will certainly be a special moment at the beginning of Comic-Con Museum's sure-to-be storied history. I can't stress enough the astonishing sights and sounds we have planned for y'all, and I appreciate you being here for this illustrious moment. Let's pull back a bit and dive into how we got here. Over the course of 50 years, Comic-Con has been a pillar of comics and popular art, the largest and most prestigious convention of its kind anywhere on the planet. It's a place where art in its many forms and fandom is celebrated, and the excitement phasers are set to fun. Over the years, this summer wonderland in San Diego has expanded to celebrate new and innovative areas of popular art from a variety of entertainment fields. For anyone who has been able to attend, there is absolutely nothing like the wonder of the Comic-Con experience. And of course, we'd all like summer to last forever, and I'm sure if you could, you'd want to live Comic-Con 1,000 times over during the year. But it's hard to boil down the excitement of 50-plus years into 5 days. That is why the board of directors of Comic-Con wanted to establish something that would not just celebrate comics and popular art, but bring much of the excitement, fun, and education that is Comic-Con to a year-round venue. From this idea came the Comic-Con Museum. The convention does so much to educate the public, and now we'll have a location to do so in perpetuity, bringing joy to fans old and new by opening the world of storytelling, creativity, and artistry to anyone who has love in their hearts to experience it. Comic-Con started with comics, film, science fiction, and fantasy, and as popular art has expanded, so too has the event. Television, gaming, costuming, and interactive multimedia are just a small sampling of what Comic-Con has to offer. The dream of a non-stop celebration of these mediums and the people who love them will be a reality in the San Diego's historic Balboa Park. And I can tell you from everyone's enthusiasm leading up to this, we can't wait to have you. In fact, the excitement is so strong that we wanted to give you all a special preview of what's in store. We're going to get an inside look at everything this Residence of Wonderment has to offer. Instead of doing a bad Willy Wonka impression, I'm just going to promise you that this place has literally everything you'd want as a fan, or as someone who is new to fandom. Let's take a look. As you saw, one of the foundations of the museum is the Comic-Con Museum Character Hall of Fame. A great character can serve as the vehicle for a message of hope, a creative story, or have a lasting impact for those who admire them. When we can get enthusiastic about someone we read on the page, see on the screen, or control in the game, no matter how out of this world they may seem, we get to live in those stories right alongside them. Sometimes great characters can, much to our surprise, turn out to be the villains of the story, but they're so compelling that we have just as much fun following them and rooting for their journey right alongside the heroes. The best characters don't simply evoke a feeling of nostalgia. Their fables create a personification of something that spills out into the real world. They make us braver, stronger, and can instill a sense of wonder and imagination through their fictional actions. The awareness and growth that characters can provide are exactly why the Comic-Con Museum wanted to carve out a place for them to be recognized for how special they really are. What is greater still is the collaborative nature of creating an iconic character, something that the Comic-Con Museum is looking to celebrate going forward. For every hero or even anti-hero, there was a team of creators behind them that worked day and night to make them the paladins of today. Writers, artists, engineers, developers, and so many more give the literal life to these characters. And it's that hard work that the Museum Character Hall of Fame wishes to document and immortalize for all the world to see. Last year, the Comic-Con Museum kicked off our own story by inducting Batman as the first ever honoree in the Museum Character Hall of Fame. As a hero for all, the Caped Crusader encompasses the qualities that are important to the museum: inspirational, universal, and striving for a greater good. And since the museum will be an educational, one-stop shop for all things pop culture, the Comic-Con Museum, aka CCM, felt that the next member of the Museum Character Hall of Fame should truly embrace the spirit of inclusion. This inductee is a vanguard in the world of video games, has set a litany of Guinness World Records, and just so happens to be celebrating an anniversary this year. We tried to send them a fruit basket as congratulations, but that seemed an 8-bit cliche. So we felt that the next best thing was to celebrate their greatness here with you. So with that, the Comic-Con Museum is proud to announce the addition to the Museum Character Hall of Fame, PAC-MAN. Pretty cool, right? Why PAC-MAN? As we said earlier, PAC-MAN is one of the most recognizable names and likenesses in video games, probably ever, and he's been doing it for 40 years. His staying power is incomparable, and he was quite literally created to expand the realm of video games to a more global, wide-ranging audience. From humble beginnings in Shibuya, Japan, PAC-MAN surged in the US market by stealing the hearts of gamers everywhere. It was the first video game character that broke through to the mainstream, that showed the potential for a digital dynamo to be the face of a franchise. And on top of that, it was just so darn cute. Who could have resisted? Without PAC-MAN, we wouldn't have the maze game genre. We wouldn't have power-ups. Heck, we might not even have cutscenes. And who in their right mind would want to play a video game without a great cutscene? When creator Toru Iwatani first conceptualized PAC-MAN along with composer Toshio Kai, programmer Shigeo Funaki, designer Shigechi Ishimura, and several other Bandai Namco employees, the intent was to create a game that appealed to everyone. It broke the mold for video games because it took the care and time to be accessible to anyone who wanted to jump face first into the video game world. Simply put, PAC-MAN is an icon. Even if his yellow complexion would suggest that he has several nutrient deficiencies and getting chased by 4 ghosts full-time implies that he might owe them money, you'd be hard-pressed to find anyone who doesn't know who PAC-MAN is. His reach and influence are exactly why he's the next perfect member of CCM's Character Hall of Fame. Throughout the night, we'll take a deeper look at the history of PAC-MAN, hear from the prodigies that helped bring him to life, feature the creators who are taking PAC-MAN to the next level, all while exploring the influence of the brand on the global stage, and galvanizing PAC-MAN's legacy as one of the all-time greats. Just tuning into the induction in the first place is a great show of support for the Comic-Con Museum. But there are actually a lot of other ways to lend a helping hand. You can be a part of history by becoming a charter member of the museum. It's an opportunity to help Comic-Con's most ambitious project yet, and a personal contribution by you can grow this into the megastar we all know it can be. That's right, you can be a hero by helping to write the first chapter in the Comic-Con Museum story. Donations and gifts will be going directly to the creation of the museum. What sort of a world are you helping to build? One that celebrates anything and everything related to pop culture and entertainment, fostering an environment that welcomes all, while introducing the charm of Comic-Con to comic book veterans and newbies alike. Fan support is the backbone of pop culture and the defining characteristic that makes it so unique, exceptional, and extraordinary. The Comic-Con Museum will be a monument to the revelers of story and the celebration of historic, new, and innovative forms of art. This museum will be a unique focal point of what an institution like this can do for the world around it, a full-fledged, one-of-a-kind experience that will create a history of all its own, one that would be more inviting than anything that came before it. It extends to the long-term ideals and goals of what this place can be. Some of the museum's initiatives include an education center, diverse exhibits and programs, along with dynamic spaces that adapt to the ever-changing landscape of artistic endeavors and enthusiasm. With your gifts, learning, science, and entertainment can all intersect and can be accessed from all over the world, either in person or digitally, with a significant effort being made to expand the museum's online presence. This can be so much more than a place for fun. It can instill an educational philosophy and give back to the pop culture community in a tangible way. And being a founding member will give you special access to all of the opportunities that the Comic-Con Museum has to offer. So, on a night where we celebrate Pac-Man, one of the most inclusive and accessible characters of all time, we'd like to include you in this Herculean effort with an invitation to visit the museum page at comiccon.org, where there's a litany of charter membership options. You can be part of a new tradition while enjoying the many benefits that come with being one of the founding associates, including collectibles, unlimited general admission to the museum, and so much more. Take part today, knowing you've brought the Comic-Con Museum one step closer to being a reality. Now that we know what this night can be about, let's get ready to pack in the fun. This is the part of the show where I'll go from being sincere to just slinging puns, so let's gear up for what will be a remarkable evening. As you can imagine, with 40 years of history, Pac-Man has racked up some incredible numbers. And there may be a thing or two you didn't know about our yellow superstar. Here are some notable Pac stats, fun facts, and trivia on our Museum Character Hall of Fame inductee. Pac-Man has sold 48 million copies across all platforms, accounting for over $14 billion in revenue, while being featured in almost 100 iterations of his own adventures or other video games. Pac-Man's original title was Puck-Man, not only for his hockey puck shape, but as an evolution of the Japanese words for chomp, Baku. In fact, the original name was Pac-Man. Did you know that live-action versions of the arcade have been played all over North America, including the largest ever version in New York called Pac-Manhattan, as well as Pac-Man taking place in Vancouver, Canada? And despite appearing to be the same size, Pac-Man is actually smaller than the Four Ghosts, by exactly 1 pixel. His name has been lent to both business and science, with the term Pac-Man defense utilized in corporate sales and Pac-Man renormalization coined within the mathematics world. While the Comic-Con Museum is coming in 2021, Pac-Man has already dipped his metaphorical toes in the museum waters. He's been featured on his own as part of a collection at the Smithsonian, New York's Museum of Modern Art, Tokyo's 331 Arts Chiyoda, and this year, artist Sebastian Masuda also created his own take with Primal Pop Pac-Man Mix. And at 1 calorie per dot, 5 calories per Energizer, there have been 200 quadrillion calories consumed by Pac-Man across the 40-year history of the game. So, I may have made this last one up, but seems pretty legit, right? All of this info is wildly impressive, but ultimately the real numbers we care about are from you, the folks who love Pac-Man. We got questions, and we hope that you have answers. We dropped some Pac polls for people to check out and weigh in on. As you can see from our magnificent big board here, some of our questions include, what is the best color of Ghost? What is the most delicious Pac-Man fruit? And what is your favorite Pac-Man movie cameo? We got more great questions to go along with that, so make sure to head to the Comic-Con Museum's Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram accounts to let your digital voice be heard. We're going to add a question about what tie I should wear for the show before realizing I don't own a tie. Moving on. Now, every hero has their origin story, and not all heroes eat snack pellets, and we would be remiss if we didn't include the man responsible for the creation of Pac-Man, Toru Iwatani. We got a chance to catch up with him for this 40th anniversary celebration and discuss the ideas that informed his design strategy, the early days of video game development, and the infancy of Pac-Man that would go on to change the industry forever.
当時は、第二次オイルショックですかね。非常にちょっと不景気な時代で、会社就職活動も厳しい状況だったんですね。会社案内が本になってたんですけれども、そこに遊びをクリエイトするというふうに書いてあったんですね。で、私が学生時代あまり成績が良くないので、遊びならばどうにか仕事に就けるだろうという思いで入社したのが、ナムコという会社名ではなくて、中村製作所っていう大田区にある町工場みたいな名前だったんですね、社名が。入社が決まった時に、私の兄のアキラが、これを読んどけと渡された本があったんですね。でそれがロジエ・カイワの遊びと人間という本で、遊びについて書かれた本なんですね。 で、それからその遊びっていう言葉をこれから追求していくんだという意識が湧きまして、本来人間は遊ぶ動物であるというようなことをヨハン・ホイジンガがホモ・ルーレンスっていう本の中で述べてるんですね。で、その述べてる内容を中村雅也氏が非常に会社の中でも啓蒙しようとしていたところがありましたので、兄から与えられたロジエ・カイヨの遊びと人間っていう本と合致して、私はこれを開発のみんなに配った方がいいと、遊びと人間という本をみんなで読もうじゃないかということを上司に提案したりということをしてました。とにかく黎明期って言いますか、何もない白いキャンパスにいろんな絵が描けるビデオゲームの時代ですので、いわゆる本当に描き放題、新しいものは何でも描いていいというところですので、ゴールが見えないと言いますか、ゴールを意識しない生活、あるいは開発でしたね。で、当時私はピンボールを作りたかったので、フリッパーピンボールが作れる会社だと思ってたんですけれども、会社に入った時に聞いたら、うちではフリッパーピンボールは作ってないよと言われて、ガーンとなって、つまりあまり調査しないで会社を決めたっていうところですね。ナムコが最初に作ったビデオゲーム GB っていうゲーム機があるんですけども、これはピンボールとブレイクアウト、ブロック崩しを合わせたようなゲームなんですけれども、ボールを弾き返すだけなんですね。で、このゲームは多分今の人たちが見れば、これはもう1週間で作れるよと。プログラム簡単だねっていうふうに多分なると思うんですね。ところが、やはりその当時の技術であるとか、いろいろなその準備であるとかってやりますと、やっぱり1年かかるんですね。世の中に出た時には、まずその一つのものづくりが終わった。で、終わったと思ったんですけど、実はそこが始まりだったっていうことに気づくんですね。で、これはお客様がプレイをして嫌な顔したり、難しいな、私にはできないっていう反応がやっぱり見えたんですね。で、その時に、自分はなんか良かれと思ったものが世の中に受け入れられないっていうことを初めて叩きつけられるわけですね。で、これが非常にショックだったんですね。ビデオゲーム第1号機の GB、私の最初のゲーム機なんですけども、難しすぎてあまり人気が出なくて失敗したんです。で、この失敗を次のゲーム機に必ず生かそうというふうに思ったわけで、そういう意味で、ちょっと失敗してよかったかなというふうにも思っています。1979年、に開発を始めて、パックマンは1980年に、世の中に出るんですけども、1979年の頃は、いわゆるゲームセンター、アーケードゲームセンターに行くと、男性が、エイリアンを殺せという形で、シューティングのゲームをしたり、レースゲームをしたりしていて、男の遊び場だったんですよ。もうむさ苦しいっていうか、もう汚い、臭い、暗いという感じで、もう 3K のその遊び場だったんですね。で、これではダメだなって、やっぱり当時ですね、ラスベガスなりのカジノの情景がテレビとかで見ると、華やかで綺麗で、女性たちもドレスを着ている情景が頭にありましたので、ゲームセンターもやっぱり女性が来て、それでカップルも来て、キャーキャー言いながら遊ぶ場がやっぱり未来があるだろうな。で、ゲーム場が明るくなって、で、女性たちも来ればトイレもきれいになって、それでますます華やかになっていくだろうな。子供たちでもできる、あるいは年配の人たちでもできるっていうことにも、やっぱり範囲を広げて開発していきまして、それで会社の中ですね、要するに開発部門の中で、ある程度出来上がったものを試しにプレイをする様子があるわけですね。で、その様子を見て、結構女性たちも苦になくプレイをしてると。で、 あるいは楽しそうにプレイをしているということで、まずは大丈夫だろうなというふうに思いました。で、次に、ロケーションテストといいまして、開発の途中段階、だいたい70%、80% ぐらいできた段階で、実際の、ゲームセンターに置いて、こっそりとテストするですね。で、それがロケーションテストといいまして、で、開発の中では大きな儀式なんですね。ここで反応が悪い場合は、ボツになったり、あるいは大きく修正したりします。そういう意味で、ロケーションテストで、実際にお客さんはついてくれるだろうか、ついてこれるだろうか、楽しんでくれるだろうかっていうことはドキドキしながらセットして、朝10時からお客さんを待ってるわけですね。で、我々、開発部員は気づかれないようにメモを取りながらプレイの様子を見てるわけなんですけども、その時に、女性が本当に、何これという形でプレイをしてくれて、で、プレイ中も、もう、キャーキャー言いながら、要するに、ゴーストに追っかけられると、すごい、キャーキャー言いながら逃げるんですけども、それも、なんていうか、楽しみながら、キャーキャー言って逃げてる。そういう意味で、これは、コンセプトとして当たったな、ちゃんと受け入れられたな、ということで、狙い通り遊んでるな、という形で、その時は嬉しかったですね。
Mr. Iwatani's story is just too good for one segment, so we'll have more to come from the legendary creator as the night progresses. Don't blinky, or you just might miss it. I'd feel a lot worse about doing these dad jokes if Pac-Man wasn't turning 40. The level of love for the Amber Puck Prince is also owed to the man responsible for designing him, Tadashi Yamashita. Along with sound designer Toshio Kai, Mr. Yamashita worked to revolutionize game design, a trade he began mastering in 1970. He's worked on in numerous games, including classics like Galaga, F1, Galaxian, and Pole Position, and lent his talents to Pac-Man properties Super Pac-Man, Pac-and-Pal, and Pac-Land. There is absolutely no way we could celebrate the Pac-anniversary without him, so we have a special treat from Tadashi that pays tribute to his work on the Pac-Man brand, along with some new, memorable artwork with a special touch.
40年前、新しいビデオゲームができたんでデザインをお願いしますということで、企画者の岩谷さんのところに店にもらいに行ってきたんですよね。画面を見ると皆さんご存知だと思うんですけど、黄色い円筒が上下左右動き回ってて、逃げたりやっつけたりと奥の深いゲームでしたね。でそれを見てると円と黄色ということの単純な画面上の要素だったんで、自分の作業テーブルの上帰ってきてさてデザインしようとした時に簡単に今のキャラクターができたんですよね。 大して時間もなくて副案も書かないで提出し、そのまま承認をもらいました。パックマンはあまり円に手足がついたんで特徴がない感じもするんで、目はちょっと特徴つけようかなと思って昔風の目にしてみました。そうするとちょっとでも大きく見えるかなと思ってやってみたんですね。で、私なりにちょっと凝ったところがありまして、誰も気づいてくれないんで40周年を記念して今言いますけど、目は画面上のパックマンをそのままちょっと縦に引き伸ばしたような感じで作ってみたんですよね。で、誰か指摘するかなと思ってやってみたんですが、誰も何にも言わないんでそのまま現状まで来たんですが、今40周年ということでちょっと告白してみました。パックマンを描いてると自分に元気をもらうような気がするんですよね。何の悩みもないパックマンを描いてると自分で自分が描いてるのに元気をもらうと。皆さんもそういうふうに元気を与えられるといいなとは思ってます。もっと世界中に、これが広まっていけば世界平和になるんじゃないかと、なってほしいなと思っている今日この頃です。
Another thanks to Mr. Yamashita for participating. The way that Tadashi was able to incorporate so many different elements from outside the video game universe into his work is further proof of the wider pop culture influence that characters can have. These are things, when tied together, can create personal meaning and a greater appreciation for the breadth of people this art can represent and bring into the fold. It's the perfect analogy for the Comic-Con Museum, celebrating every facet of what goes into the creation of pop culture history. The arts, crucial, fun, and a great way to make events like this more extravagant. Plus, they make me feel cultured. Since we just heard from Mr. Yamashita, it's natural for us to revisit the man, the myth, the legend, Toru Iwatani. I promised we'd have more great videos from him throughout the show, and lying on Pac-Man's anniversary is illegal in 7 states, including this one. Here's another great piece from the Bandai Namco team featuring the stoic Pac-Man creator, where he dives into the game making the jump to the United States while achieving his primary goal in the first place, fun for everyone.
1980年にパックマンは国内でリリースされて、その後秋ですね、11月にアメリカのゲームショーですね、ゲーム業界の団体のショーがありまして、そこで発表してますので、実際にアメリカ版が製造販売されたのは翌年の81年になりますね。ショーの会場シカゴに行きまして、お客さんも初めてパックマンプレイするので、横から私が、ちょっとアドバイスするんですね。本当に片言の英語で言ったらですね、一言言われましたね。あなたの言ってることはわかんないって言われてしまいまして、で、しかしながらちゃんとプレイしてくれるんですね。つまり説明なくてもプレイできるように工夫して作りましたので、僕は余計なスピーチで言わなくてもいいんだということがそこで分かりました。パックマンは国内で、女性カップルに受ければいいなっていうふうに思ってまして、で、パックマンはどちらかというと、エキサイティングな、アクションまみれたゲームではないので、ちょっとのんびりとしたゲームですので、リアル思考の強い、特に北米ではあまりヒットしないだろうな、ぬるいゲームとして思われるだろうなと思ってたんですけども、逆にそれが良くて、老若男女、つまり普段ビデオゲームをしない人たちがパックマンに飛びついてプレイをして、人生で初めてビデオゲームを経験したっていう人がパックマンによって開かれた。そんな感じがするんですね。つまりマイファーストビデオゲームがパックマンがその役目を担って、北米、それからヨーロッパでパックマンがヒットした後、 私の、生活スタイルっていうものは大きく変わっておりません。ただ、開発をする際の、意識としては、日本国内だけではなくて、広く世界に目を向けなければいけないんだ。あるいは世界をターゲットにしなきゃいけないんだっていうことがよくわかりました。で、パックマンの難しさですね。よくゲームでは難易度ですね。ゲームをするにあたって難しさ、優しさっていうのが非常に売り上げに影響を与えるんですね。これは GB の失敗からも分かったんですけれども、難しすぎると人間嫌になっちゃうんですね。これ私には無理だっていうふうになってしまいますので、どのぐらいの優しさ、難しさにするか。で、プレイヤーにいかにストレスを与えないか。そして楽しんでもらえるかっていうゲーム設計における難易度調整が非常に重要であるというふうに今気づきました。ゲームに限らずアニメーションであるとか映画であるとかいろいろなコンテンツというのは、自分自身が作るんではなくて相手がどう思うか、見る人、鑑賞する人、プレイする人がどう思うかっていうところがとても大事ですので、クリエイターっていうのは、自分の、自己主張とともに相手の気持ちをいかに汲み取るかというそういうところを発信していくものだと思いますので、日本人の作り方、特に美に細理に入りって言いますか、至れり尽くせりのものづくりするわけですよね。電化製品にしてももういろんな工夫をして余計なもうコストが高くなるからこの機能いらないよっていうものもつけて製品化する日本の作り方、これが実は非常に人の心に響くんですよね。ただ物の値段が高くなって安く作る国々にちょっと負けてしまっているのが今ちょっと日本ではあるわけなんですけども、ただそういう意味で付加価値のある製品商品っていうものがこれからやっぱりどんどん見直されてくると思うんですね、再び。そういう意味で日本のものづくりの原点っていうのは人の気持ちを考えて、でいろんな工夫をしていくということが大事だと思っています。
I must say, that attitude of designers creating games for people and not themselves is such a thoughtful perspective. If it hadn't been for video game pioneers like Mr. Iwatani, who had the foresight to make a game that appealed to a larger audience, it could have taken decades before video games broke into the mainstream like they did. And for that, we thank you, Mr. Iwatani. Beloved characters are only as strong as their fans, which is why we wanted to hear from some of the folks who made Pac-Man the pixelated professional he is today. In the spirit of the inclusive nature of the Comic-Con Museum, let's hear from Pac fans from all over the world.
Congratulations, Pac-Man, on entering the Museum Character Hall of Fame!
What's up, Pac-Man lovers?
Got this a few weeks ago. My favorite Pac-Man thing I have, and of course this is also my everyday coffee mug.
Here you see this, the little Pac-Man.
Sigan haciendo juegos, muchas gracias, Willy.
I'd say one of my favorite things about Pac-Man is most likely the music that plays in the game. It's always the best, especially in Championship Edition.
Been a big part of my childhood, and we all love you. Waka 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 waka.
This is a character that I personally have loved forever and has been a major part of my life.
Here's to another 40, huh?
Keep it up. Have some colors to celebrate. You deserve it.
It's been an incredible number of years. I remember when I was a kid playing Pac-Man World 2 incessantly.
I've got my favorite video game series here, Pac-Man World.
When I was trying to hide this arcade machine from my parents because they had forbidden me to buy it. The funny part is my mom came into my room and said like, Omar, there's a Pac-Man machine in the garage. And I'm like, what? How did that get there?
Congratulations, Pac-Man, on entering the Museum Character Hall of Fame.
Congratulations, buddy. You've come a long way since Atari 2600.
So, whether you're 50
or 15,
Pac-Man is as timeless as he is awesome.
I remember when I first got this plug and play back 10 years ago for Christmas, and it completely got me into retro gaming, and I have Pac-Man to thank for that.
I love you.
and I love the ghosts, and I love your games, and I'm proud to be a fan of Pac-Man.
Congratulations, Pac-Man, on entering the Museum Character Hall of Fame.
I've been a huge fan of yours my whole life. Happy 40th anniversary.
Congratulations, Pac-Man. Love you.
I've been a lifelong fan of your series, and you've inspired me to become both a pixel artist and a computer programmer. So, here's one to you, buddy.
That was truly the fullest span of fandom and stories you can imagine. All kinds of people, all kinds of ages, and the toys. Some of those folks had some very impressive setups. It's that sort of love for Pac-Man that was instrumental to his induction into the Museum Character Hall of Fame tonight. And we love getting the chance to highlight those wonderful fanatics with you at home. We've joked around quite a bit, so maybe it's time to get academic. Since his departure from the video game world, Toru Iwatani has carved out quite a nice corner educating students about gaming structure and character design all over Japan. He talks about that transition into scholastics, lessons on character creation, and how games can now influence the real world.
やっぱりゲームの中で動かしているものっていうのは、プレイヤーが動かしているキャラクターっていうのは主人公なんですね。やっぱり自分が投影されたものですので、ゲームの中でキャラクターが痛い目に遭うと、やっぱり嫌だなっていうふうに痛みも感じるわけですね。そういう意味で、感情移入ができるようなキャラクター作りっていうのはとても大事だと思うんです。シンプルな、ゲームルールで、誰でもが分かりやすいということと、それから、コントローラーが上下左右の4方向を動かすだけですので、非常に、プレイがしやすい。で、誰でもができる操作感ということと、それから可愛いキャラクターですね。憎めないゴースト、それからパックマンの関係性っていうのは、トムとジェリー、トム&ジェリーみたいに仲良く喧嘩しなということで、殺し合いではない、非常に女性とか子供さんとかに親和性の高い、心に優しい、キャラクターということで、40年間、続いたんだなというふうに思っています。ナムコはですね、開発の人たちを、いろいろな教育機関に、派遣するといいますか、特別講師でゲームを教えに行ってたんです。で、これはですね、2007年の前の、そうですね、2004年ぐらいからやり始めていて、私も大阪芸術大学であるとか、それから東京大学であるとか、それから東北電子専門学校であるとか、専門学校とかですね、そういうところに週に1回教えに行ってたりしてたんですね。その中に東京工芸大学がありまして、その中のアニメーション学科のゲームを、学びたいっていう学生もいましたので、アニメーション学科のゲームを学びたい人たちのために、ナムコの所属で教えに行ってました。そういう意味で、大学で若い人たちに教えるのもいいなというふうに思っていた時に、大学の方でアニメーション学科、漫画学科の次にゲーム学科も作りたいということで、大学の方で働いてくれないかっていうお誘いがありましたので、そこで大学で教えるのもいいなと。2007年に、東京ポリテクニックユニバーシティに転職しまして、そこで学生たちにゲームとは何か、遊びとは何か、人間とは何かみたいなものを教えてきているというところです。もう学生との会話の中では日々こちらが勉強することが多くてですね、頭が下がる思いなんですね。つまり良かれと思って知識を伝達しても、それが本人にとって、成長の糧になるかっていうと、決してそうではないことが多いんですね。つまり、いろんな学説ってありますよね。これについては A 先生はこう思う、B 先生はこう思う、C 先生はこうだと。世界の 果ての人はこう言ってるということで、正解のない中で学んでいきますので、私が喋ってることは正しいことではない。むしろ疑ってくれと。で、いろんなことを自分から学んで調べたり探求して自分の答えを出していくのが、学生の仕事だよっていうふうに言ってますので、ゲームばかりやるなと、他のことをやんなさいっていうぐらいに言いますね。何事もゼロから生まれないんですね。アイデアも実はゼロから生まれないですね。頭の中のデータ、つまり生きてきた間に得られた情報の組み合わせでしかないんですね。で、その組み合わせがちょっと変な組み合わせの方が面白いんですよね。ですから頭の中にいっぱい材料があれば、あるいは引き出しがいっぱいあれば、その組み合わせの数は指数級数的に増えるんですね。そうすると、いろいろな珍しいものが発見できる。自然界であるとか、古い建築であるとか、いろいろなものをたくさん見る、あるいは経験するっていうことが大事だと思います。そこからクリエイティブなものが生まれてくると。そういうふうに考えています。とにかく、ゲームは遊びの中の一つに過ぎない。だからゲームばっかり見ないように、周りのいろんなエンターテインメントを経験したり、体験したり、情報収集したりして、懐を広げてからゲームっていうものを見つめましょうというふうに教えてます。で、さらにですね、そのゲームは遊ぶだけのものじゃないんだ。ゲーミフィケーション、シリアスゲームで言われる通り、ゲームの持っている興味を持続させる力っていうのが遊びだけではなくてリハビリテーションであるとか、教育現場、医療現場で使われる、そういう時代になってきてますので、ゲームが社会の問題を解決していく、そういうツールになっていくんだと。ゲームはどんどん成長してるんだということを伝えています。
I would have loved to have a luminary like Mr. Iwatani as a professor when I was in college. Did that video technically count as an online course? Because I was like 1 credit shy of actually graduating, and I'd really love to knock that out before the end of the year. If not, there's always Clown College for me. Over all those years, our Ghost Gobbler has worked with and been licensed by countless brands. He's lent his likeness pretty much everywhere: athletic wear, board games, and even other video game properties outside the Bandai Namco family. We've even seen continued expansion in the music biz, with special collaborations and tributes with Gorillaz, Schoolboy Q, and K-pop star Jai Park. So with all that love, we wanted to give some of those partners an opportunity to wax poetic about the Golden Sphere savior.
I was young when Pac-Man first came out.
I'm a kid that grew up in the 80s.
Pac-Man became my go-to.
And I can remember my aunt and uncle down in Atlanta, Georgia, challenging
Pac-Man Fever song and rocking out to that in my bedrooms.
They always had the quarters on the screen or at the top over there.
Get out the joystick and she's going to challenge you to see who's going to get the best game.
You know, we would all smack talk with each other on who was getting whatever fruit that day.
Well, my 10-year-old nephew had kind of seen the character and kind of known about it. And when I gave him a physical video game, his dad, his 43-year-old dad, almost stepped in, and I couldn't get it to the 10-year-old because he wanted to play it. Then I get pictures of them both playing it together. And, you know, for me, that was just like, that was the wow. And they're both Giants fans. So it's like, it's this full circle of generational approach that just gets it. The evolution of our relationship with Pac-Man and, you know, ultimately Bandai Namco, you know, it came about pretty organically in terms of starting a conversation. You know, two organizations that were looking to be creative, looking to be innovative, and play to our strengths. Just the fact that Pac-Man, what he's all about, it's all about staying active and having fun and movement and you know, that drive for activity and wellness. That is something that, you know, we strive for here in the Giants organization, and the vision we had for taking over the city and taking over Oracle Park here. We had to pivot to a virtual format, but it's okay. You know, we did it, and again, we made it real for our fans and consumers, and they had an appetite for it, and we were able to quench that and hopefully be able to deliver more into the future.
Back in the 1970s, the Caterpillar corporate logo was known as the Block C, which mistakenly or not mistakenly looks a lot like the Pac-Man character. So this year is Caterpillar's 95th anniversary, and we looked at how do we want to celebrate that. One of the items that Caterpillar has done in our past is our Cat Trials promotion videos. So we wanted to bring those back after having mothballed them about 6 years ago. When we looked at that, one of the things we wanted to do was talk about automation in our product and remote control product. So we concepted and we said, hey, let's create a maze we can drive our remote control product through. And what's the most iconic maze? Pac-Man. So we partnered with Bandai Namco to be able to utilize the Pac-Man brand and actually create a larger-than-life Pac-Man in real life in dirt, which was a little bit of a different thing for Bandai, but they were really excited about helping us bring it to life.
The reason that it was important for us to partner with Pac-Man is that when we first came up with the idea of Arcade 1-Up, the idea was how do we take arcade machines and simplify them and bring them at home for a nominal amount of money, but give a similar type of experience that you had in the arcade. And all of that always goes with content being first, right? So for us, we knew from the very get-go, we must have Pac-Man. It was an absolute must for us. We call him around our place, the big yellow dude. And the big yellow dude has been a big halo for us. You know, it basically runs across our entire gamut of products. And if you look at our product range and you look at what we do, in every one of our machines that is a Namco-related machine, Pac-Man obviously takes the front seat to that. In fact, you know, you keep saying the word legacy, and I love that name because when we first started, Pac-Man was in our first initial lineup of our 6 arcade machines that we released, and that was in fall of 2018. And as we've come forward almost 2.5 years, going into 2021, I can tell you one of our key items is called the Legacy line. And the Legacy line features Pac-Man in its forefront. And I can tell you that it has started and has always continued to be the #1 draw in the entire category.
Our relationship with Pac-Man began at ComplexCon 2019. When we're looking at partnering with brands, authenticity is key. And we always look through that lens of authenticity. And besides having two amazing milestones of a 100-year anniversary and a 40-year anniversary, really kind of looked at this as Champion's a pioneer in the space of athletic apparel. Pac-Man's a pioneer in video games. And what's kind of cool is what's happening now in the world is these two worlds have collided, that were separate and diverse are now becoming one and the same with the explosion of esports. And so kind of going back to the roots of iconic athletic apparel brand and an iconic video game brand and bringing them together at this time when esports is exploding, pretty amazing opportunity to really explore that space. And we really see this as just an evolution of what sport is in America and around the world, of this evolution of an expansion of the field of play. And while we used to go out onto baseball diamonds and basketball courts, it's now it's a visual, digital, virtual world, and Pac-Man was really at the forefront of that. Congratulations, Pac-Man, on getting to 40 years and still being culturally relevant today as you were 40 years ago.
You're an iconic character that truly transcends generations. Keep telling your story. Keep on moving. We hope to see you circling the bases here at Oracle Park. If you're ever in town and want to catch a game, please let us know.
We want to congratulate you guys. It has been an amazing experience partnering with you guys. We are so appreciative of the two brands coming together.
And along with bringing many, many smiles to many, many consumers' faces around the world. So the last thing I want to say is to the big yellow guy and to everybody over at Bandai, a huge congratulations from the team at Tastemakers and Arcade 1-Up to you to being invoked into the Comic-Con Character Hall of Fame. Awesome. Way to go, guys. And you rock to another 40 years.
It's not every day you get to hear from people like this who get a chance to work directly with Pac-Man and Bandai Namco. And these stories aren't purely based in capitalism or business. These folks at our partner companies have their own personal relationship with Pac-Man that carries over to their professional lives. It's a testament to the strength of the character that they wanted to express their gratitude tonight. You know, I tried to make some Pac-Man music of my own by combining all 4 Ghost Chase sounds into one. Hit it, folks! That was actually the worst sound ever created. I finally made my mark on history. This event wouldn't have been possible without our biggest sponsor, eBay. The marketplace has connected enthusiasts and collectors with sellers around the world for over 25 years, and it's a one-stop shop for everything Pac-Man. From ultra-rare arcade games to collectible merch and more. Shop for the best deals or sell for cash right from your phone. eBay was kind enough to share some Pac facts of their own from their years of data on their platform. Let's take a look at what they got. You can pretty much sell anything on eBay, except your soul. Believe me, I've tried. I'm just kidding, but if I wasn't kidding, the starting bid for my soul is $300. The tributes to Pac-Man tonight have been moving, and it's with all of this momentum we take you to the moment you've all been waiting for. We've heard from the legendary Toru Iwatani, taken several trips down memory lane, promoted our fans, listened to me rant nonsensically, and shamelessly plugged our sponsors. With all that, it's time for the real deal main event. Let's welcome our 2020 Comic-Con Museum Character Hall of Fame inductee, Pac-Man. A holder of 8 Guinness World Records related to his success in the video game world, Pac-Man encompasses the traits of the Comic-Con Museum Character Hall of Fame. He's a player for all, timeless, inspiring, and still involving with our understanding of what makes a character great. From humble beginnings in 1980, the past 40 years have seen Pac-Man grow into a digital behemoth, an unprecedented run that is rivaled by few in the video game world. It is a name so recognizable that it has been borrowed by athletes to emphasize their greatness. His likeness has appeared on just about every piece of merchandise you can imagine, and probably a few items you can't. He's been seen on television, in movies, with his history expanding into the music industry, inspiring songs from top artists across every genre imaginable. It is this broad appeal, the happiness that Pac-Man elicits, that brings us to now.
What sparked us to want a Museum Character Hall of Fame was to find a way to honor those elements that are representative of what pop culture is, and the thing that stood out the most are characters.
We felt for this, we really wanted to celebrate the creation and allow for people to have that connection with that thing they actually love.
And the added benefit of recognizing those characters is that we also get to recognize their creators, of which there are multiple. The Comic-Con Museum will be a place where fans and visitors can come to experience the magic of Comic-Con all year round.
You get to meet people that are like-minded, and you get to experience new things, which is really one of the adventures of Comic-Con. And to have a museum that's open 365 days a year, I can't wait to go myself.
I'm very excited about this year's inductee because this shows that we're looking at characters in all aspects of pop culture.
I really look forward to the induction of future characters.
Pac-Man, welcome.
Thank you. It's truly an honor to be here. I'd like to also thank our sponsors for tonight, my parent company, Bandai Namco, along with the Comic-Con Museum for recognizing my legacy and the hard work that's gone into my epic run over these last 40 years.
Now, I know you can't be here in person to accept this award, but I can promise you it is very heavy, which is always a great sign. Now, when you first started eating quarters and chomping dots, did you ever think you'd grow into the empire that you are today?
I don't think that any video game ever expects to be a gigantic success in the way that we have. I think it's a testament to our creative teams over at Bandai Namco, the countless hours that the engineers, writers, developers, and business divisions have put into making sure that I'm always at the forefront of video game design and technology.
That's great. Now, this might be a little unprofessional, but while I have you here, I have to ask, what's your favorite fruit?
Wow, really putting me on the spot. I mean, I love any fruit that gives me the power to take back control of the maze, and no one delicious item is any better than the other. But if you press me, well, sorry, I just can't pick one.
Fair, fair. Well, not to keep asking the hard questions then, but what do you think is the weirdest piece of merchandise that you've ever been on?
Oh, definitely the Pac-Man pasta from Chef Boyardee. I'm not sure who approved that one. I don't even like pasta all that much. But at the same time, I would never want to prevent someone from enjoying the gift of Pac-Man in any form. And who's to say that it won't come back in the future?
Wait, are you maybe teasing a new look Pac-Man pasta?
I'm just saying, don't rule anything out.
Now, even though they're your sworn mortal enemies, it's safe to say that you can lend a lot of success to those four colorful ghosts that are always trying to track you down. Blinky, Pinky, Inky, and Clyde. Do you feel a sense of gratitude towards that quadruplet of specters on a special day like this? Or will that rivalry always be a 24/7 battle?
I'm actually glad you brought this up. Now, when I first came to know my biggest antagonists, they went by the names Shadow, Speedy, Bashful, and Pokey. And I'll be frank, do I like them? Absolutely not. It's a constant battle between eating my fill of dots and trying to power up enough so I can overtake them. But would I trade the memories, the countless combats, the strategic dodging and challenging chomps that come with their ire? No, I wouldn't. Batman, last year's inductee, had his Joker. Superman had Lex Luthor. Wonder Woman had Cheetah, and Spider-Man was constantly entangled with the Green Goblin. Every hero needs their counterpoint, a mirror, their yin and yang. Without them, I don't know if I would have lasted for 40 years. As Mr. Iwatani said earlier, it amounts to a friendly squabble at the end of the day. And the Comic-Con Character Hall of Fame doesn't just celebrate heroes. I would love it if someday they joined me amongst the prestige inductees. They've been here for the journey just as much as I have, and I couldn't imagine taking on the video game world without them chasing me around.
Wow, that's wonderfully profound. I don't even know what to say.
After what I've heard from you tonight, I would actually prefer if you didn't say anything at all.
Fair point. We've discussed your foes, but you've also had your fair share of allies along the way, some of which have been pivotal to the success of the Pac-Man universe.
Well, I think that it goes without saying that Miss Pac-Man deserves a lot of credit. I most certainly wouldn't have risen to my level of notoriety without her help. She's been just as much of a constant for me as mastering mazes, and I 100% owe a large portion of my success to the trail she blazed in the video game world. I'm eternally grateful for her. As for Junior Pac-Man, if you're watching this, it's almost your bedtime, so I'd appreciate it if you ate your pellets and tucked yourself in goodnight.
Strong words from Padre Pac-Man. Now, do you have anything that you'd like to say to your creator, Toru Iwatani, and the fine development team that helped create you?
Toru, you're a bright, shining star, even brighter than my bulbous round head. It's your visionary mind and progressive video game goals that have allowed me to thrive. Your positivity and confidence, as well as your commitment to making games that are beloved and accessible to all, are inspiring.
Uplifting stuff, Pac-Man. Now, do you have any words of encouragement to other video game characters who are looking to break into this burgeoning Museum Character Hall of Fame?
The biggest piece of advice I would give is that you don't have to fight crime or have flashy graphics. You just have to bring joy to people's lives. If you can produce that feeling of happiness in others, you'll go a long way in cementing a place in video game and Comic-Con museum history.
Fantastic. I understand you would like to speak to the honor of being inducted into the Comic-Con Museum Character Hall of Fame?
Yes. First, I'd like to extend my humble thank you again to the Comic-Con Museum for bestowing me with this honor. This is not only from me, but on behalf of Bandai Namco Entertainment as well. For many years, Bandai Namco has looked to entertain, innovate, and bring happiness through our products and games, and being brought into the Comic-Con Museum family is the actualization of this dream. For the hundreds of people who have worked with me since 1980, all of your hard work has been instrumental to this moment. Not only am I and Bandai Namco excited for what the Comic-Con Museum can bring to the world of popular art and video games, we're ecstatic to be included in the early offerings of the Character Hall of Fame. Once again, I am beyond grateful and look forward to this beautiful institution coming to San Diego in 2021. And you better bet that once it does, Bandai Namco Entertainment will find a way to be there.
Thank you, Pac-Man. Pac-Man has aged well, aside from the fact that he's been bald since birth. 40 is the new 30, except when it comes to anniversaries, those laws of physics are pretty hard and fast. It's been a commemoration that we won't soon forget, and we've compiled a wonderful array of memories and moments from the last year. An impressive feat from our Bandai Namco team that condenses 8,760 hours of Pac-Man hits into 5 minutes. I can't tell if I'm more jealous of the Pac-Man shoes or those insane yellow jumpsuits. Probably both, to be honest. Bandai Namco really pulled out all of the stops for Pac-Man's Ruby anniversary. I feel bad for whoever has to throw Pac-Man's 41st birthday party. This is going to be pretty hard to top. The 40th anniversary isn't the only Pac-Man milestone we saw this year. Just recently, godly gamer David Race became the first person to publicly achieve a perfect game. I'm talking every dot, every fruit, every ghost without dying once. Race already held the record for the fastest perfect game. Well, of course he did, his name is Race. But this just adds to his already stellar Pac-Man resume. After 5 hours of playing, I have to imagine he has little Pac-Man for eyeballs, but that's purely speculation and hasn't yet been proven by modern science. Yet. Okay, folks, the fun isn't over, and we still have several exciting segments coming your way. We've done a deep dive into Pac-Man's past and present, but what's in store for the future? We don't have a time machine yet, but we do have the next best thing. I've been given the honor of announcing some notable developments from Bandai Namco. They would have loved to be here themselves telling you all of this, but we're thrilled to be able to give you the inside track of what's on the horizon for our favorite circular celebrity. One of the first things I can tease is a subject that everyone loves: toys. Now, for over half a century, Bandai has been bringing you premier gadgets and playthings of all varieties. And in 1980, the same year our CCM Character Hall of Fame inductee was created, Bandai released their first Gunpla model, based on the epic Gundam series. Dozens of franchises have received the Gunpla treatment since then, so it seemed only fair to let our round mound of the Ghost Town get in on the fun. So coming in 2021, Bandai Namco will be releasing the first ever Chokoken Pac-Man. That's right, the blonde ball is piloting a giant robot Pac-Man. I have to tell you, this is going to be an incredible addition to the Chokoken catalog, while still being a wonderfully unique take on the toy that still includes all the things we love about the character. That's not the only version of Pac-Man knickknacks that will be hitting the market next year. Bandai Namco is also rolling out a Proplica Waka Waka Pac-Man as well, a fun, full-size replica of Pac-Man, along with an action figure from the wonderful team at SH Figure Arts, complete with adjustable limbs and pixel-perfect accessories. In the same way that the Comic-Con Museum will likely celebrate the toy collectors and creators of yesteryear, today, and tomorrow, Pac-Man reinvents himself once again with these 2021 collectible iterations. This leads to another exciting advancement from the Bandai Namco team. At its core, its origin, Pac-Man is all about gaming. And over the years, the iconic property has moved beyond the walls of the arcade into the latest and greatest technological developments. Next year will be no different, as Pac-Man continues to incorporate cutting-edge technology to take his interactive experience to the next level. This includes utilizing cloud gaming and new platforms on which to enjoy Bandai Namco's games. In fact, the lemon-colored Lord will be coming out with the Pac-Man Waka Waka game, available on Amazon Alexa screen devices. This interpretation of the game can be entirely voice-controlled. Just verbally instruct your Pac-Man on what direction to head and experience the joys of ghost hunting and fruit follies all hands-free. Just don't ask Alexa to play against you. She's really good, man. Like, really good. I'm not bitter. I'm just disappointed in myself. As much as we love gaming, not all of Pac-Man's 2021 plans revolve around technology. We've learned tonight that the reach of the video game icon breaks through into almost every medium imaginable. And that's why next year, we're encouraging you to get Pactive. With everything we've experienced in the last year and what has been unprecedented times, it is more important now than ever to prioritize your health. And Pac-Man is in full agreement, which is why we're encouraging all of the Pac fans out there to engage in safe, healthy activities as much as possible. This doesn't just mean traditional areas of fitness like working out or sports. You can be active in all kinds of ways. Playing outside while maintaining safe social distance, exercising in the home, or even combining our love of gaming with health through a physically active dancing game or moving about in the VR world. It is imperative to still follow any health, safety, or stay-at-home guidelines laid out by your local administration, but you can still be Pactive and stay safe. And in 2021, Pac-Man wants nothing more than for you to get your body moving. He puts his money where his mouth is. He's chomping and running around the maze all day. Pac-Man is just about the leanest fellow in the digital world. So next year, let's stay safe and get Pactive. Funny enough, all of this physical and verbal calisthenics leads perfectly into the biggest news of the night for the future of Pac-Man and Bandai Namco. I have the privilege of announcing a partnership of two of the most iconic brands on the globe. Pac-Man will be teaming up with the NBA for the upcoming 2021-2022 basketball season for a pairing unlike anything you've ever seen in Pac-Man's history. Without getting too deep into spoilers, we'll be seeing all kinds of incredible integrations, activations, and crossovers with merchandise. and an upcoming one-of-a-kind NBA-themed event in the classic Pac-Man game for mobile. We can't wait for you to witness the merger of these two behemoths, and you'll be able to join in the fun via the free Pac-Man app, which is available for download right now. Basically, this is the closest thing I'm ever going to get to making an NBA basketball team and actually being good at Pac-Man. And as awesome as this is for me, it's going to be just as much fun for all of you at home. But see, if I can get a tryout with like any NBA team of any kind, consider this my game tape. I can be like point guard or shooting guard or water boy, pretty much anything you need. Without trying to talk about myself too much, I don't know about you, but all of that info got me excited for Pac-Man's newest game, Mega Tunnel Battle. In fact, I think we should go ahead and jump into a Mega Tunnel of our own by showing you how the game looks. The Bandai Namco social team got a match with the producer of the game on the books, where we got some tips, tricks, and learned more about this incredible new entry into the Pac-Man lexicon. Its Battle Royale style play lets you flex your digital muscles and really prove you're the leader of the pack. Enough with the bits, time for the battle.
So everybody say hi to Stephanie, who is over to my left.
Hello, everyone.
Stephanie is one of the people who have worked on this game, so we're really excited to have someone who really knows their ins and outs of this new Pac-Man title.
The game mode that we're joining right now is Elimination Mode. GC Elimination game. So this is basically our main game mode. This is our Battle Royale mode. So this game mode basically starts with a huge grid of Pac-Man mazes. It starts at 64 different mazes, so it's an 8x8 maze, or an 8x8 grid. Every single individual player starts in a single maze, but they can invade each other's mazes. So the name of the game is really to, as all Battle Royales go, is to be the last Pac-Man standing. You want to make sure that you stay alive the longest, and if possible, eat as many other Pac-Man along the way so that you can be the last one standing as quickly as possible. That is a pretty convenient thing about Stadia, is that there's no like download, there's no install. Our game right now, our full game, is available for $20. You don't have to wait in pre-order lines forever in order to get like the latest PS5 and then discover like, oh no, like it doesn't work super well.
So wherever you are, you could jump in and play. So like, let's say you're in the backseat of your car right now, you could play this game on your phone.
Yes, it's basically available on any platform where like you can run Google Chrome, or if you can get the Stadia app. So you can play it on your laptop. You don't need like a crazy gaming rig. You can play it on your phone so long as you have a stable internet connection. It's pretty convenient. That was really exciting for me, and it was really cool to be able to like talk to my friends who are like, "Oh, I want to play your demo, but it's like I don't have a Stadia." Good news, you don't need a Stadia. You can still play it. You don't need. Do you have Google Chrome? You have Stadia. So I am actually still playing the game, but Chris lost all of her lives a little while ago, but she's still able to spectate the game. So you can see on her screen, there's only 2 mazes left, but if you had spectated earlier, you'd be able to see like the entire grid of 8x8 all the way to as mazes get deleted or as people die. So you could see that little like voting window that was popping up for earlier. That was voting on the power-ups that spawn in the game. There are power-ups that spawn on a timer and they're random per maze, but when you vote on spectator power-ups, you are voting on power-ups that spawn in every single maze. Players are able to recognize which power-ups are spawned by spectator voting because they have a little like swirly VFX around it. And that's sort of a cue when you see those swirly VFX to be like, oh, is that a Pac-Man speed up? I bet like everybody else might have a Pac-Man speed up, or they might have a shield, or they might have a stun, or something like that. So it's a good cue to sort of know what other players might have up their sleeve. is. That is one of the new things that has come out with our full game, is that game mode that you just saw was elimination mode, which is a battle royale mode, but we also have challenge mode, which is essentially an endless mode. If you go to it, you get initially like these 3 goals, like these missions, we call them challenges, that you can complete while you are playing the game, but you can also just play Pac-Man endlessly. It's the same kind of grid. As people join in, you can join in immediately. New mazes get spawned for those players. But you can just sort of like cruise around in your own maze, go into other people's mazes, just rack up the points, rack up your goals. That's something you can just play indefinitely if you want to just sort of like play for a long time, or just like play for a very short amount of time, because you don't have to go for the full game if you don't want to.
It's a good way to get some practice in.
Practice those that is true too.
Tricky turns and strats and stuff. And also it just helps you learn get a general feel for the game, because I definitely was having issues when I first started, but now I'm like pretty proud that I can even just get the 10k points, which is like one of the first challenges to unlock the elimination mode, but even that's like a lot of fun.
If you're familiar with the original Pac-Man, you know that when you earn 10,000 points, you get an extra man. And it works the same way in our game. We actually pulled a lot of things from the classic Pac-Man because we're all really big fans of it at our studio as well. Showing that you're able to get that 10,000 points and get that extra man, that's something that will probably be very handy for you in the game because you want to, keep your number of lives high as you're playing to stay alive as long as you can.
And I've just been aimlessly scrolling through all the customization stuff while you've been talking, just to kind of show the chat like how cool all of this stuff is, and there's all this like thought into making yourself kind of unique among all the other 63 Pac-Men that are walking around the mazes. So there's like bandanas that they have like around the face, kind of like a cool bandit or something. Just a regular pair of glasses, a cooler pair of glasses. And then there are other ones that you can unlock with coins that you win or you earn by playing challenges or by playing the elimination rounds. And there's so many different options here that I kind of want to just keep playing to unlock all of them.
Yeah, customizations are definitely one of my favorite parts of the game. Like, that's something that our art team was super excited to just like crank out a bunch of different accessories, like all the different maze themes. Like, we really love how they look. Like, we tried to theme a lot of them, and you can mix and match some of the accessories as well. So like, the stuff that goes on your face or your eyes, you can pair that with accessories that go on your head or on your body, which is why Chris is able to put an afro on with her Ninja Turtle mask. And we also have a bunch of different color variations as well.
Yeah.
So it's not like you're just buying like a single accessory for 1,000 tokens. You're getting like 8 different accessories.
I'm definitely shooting for this little cat one. I think it's so funny.
The very first thing that we did when we started making this game was like, we made everything as in classic Pac-Man. So all of the ghost movement, all the Pac-Man movements, like the original maze layout, everything was like classic Pac-Man. And we've retained like a huge amount of that functionality since then. So the ghost AI for the 4 different ghosts, like they all work the same way as they do in the classic game. So Blinky is super aggressive, the red ghost. Pinky, the pink one, is like, she will try to target like right ahead of you. Clyde, the orange one, is like has kind of random-ish movement. And then Inky, the blue one, will try to sort of like pincer you. Additionally, the movement rules for Pac-Man himself are pretty similar. So Pac-Man, when he is eating dots, he will move a little bit slower than when he's just going down an empty hallway. So if you want to try to like outrun ghosts, like the ideal thing to do is try to like go down empty pathways. I see my maze is a party right now. I've got 5 different people in here.
There's so many people in there. That's crazy.
And then another thing, I got picked off there. But yeah, one other movement thing that we took straight from the original games is the ability to sort of like cut corners. So if you sort of like queue up an input, as you can see, I'm the fish with a snorkel. I'm getting little like sparks around where I'm moving. If you are going down a hallway and you like queue up the left movement, like I'm holding down my controller stick to the left, what you'll do is you kind of like cut the corner quickly. So another way to sort of outrun ghosts is to like quickly move around corners while you're doing the cornering motion, and that helps you outrun them. Our power-ups are a thing that are, we designed them unique for our game. So different parts, like the different rounds in an elimination game, we will be spawning different power-ups. We try to like ramp up the intensity of the abilities as time goes on. But yeah, like there are power-ups like Ghost Repel, which it sort of gives you like a little like stinky aura and the ghosts don't like it and they will avoid you. You can also do Ghost Attract, yeah, and that will bring ghosts towards you, which can be dangerous, obviously, but it helps you rack up a really big combo if you get them really close to. Ooh, I see some other players in here. And that one that I just stored was a bomb, which are very powerful. Let's see, and I want this shield. Ooh, but I didn't get it before Clyde came in. Those little bubbles that come in that are basically just like objects in the environment. Those are power-ups, and if you just like run over the power-up, then you activate it immediately. So that one down in the bottom left, that's a ghost attractor. If I hit it, then ghosts are immediately attracted to me. Like they will immediately like go to where I am going. But if I'm like, you know what, I don't really need that power-up right now, I bet it'll come in handy later, what I can do is hold down one of my controller buttons. And when I hold it down, I can store it in that slot. You get one power-up per slot, so you can store up to 2 at a time. And I have like 2 other Pac-Man in this maze. Oh, it just went down to 1. So I'm going to go ahead and kick off a bomb, because I know that I get a bunch of points if I can make a big combo with the bomb. So that's why bombs are so dangerous. Like if you have them stored, you can sort of like spring them on people. But if you have a shield, you can protect yourself from the bombs. So it's not like an all is lost situation.
So is there still 2 players left?
Yeah, although we've been whittling away at each other's lives. We both entered this last screen and we had 3 lives left, so it's been a little bit slow going here.
Alright, we're definitely neck and neck here, y'all.
Yeah. Here we go.
I mean, there's just so much going on the screen. It's so hard to commentate because I kind of switch my eyes to one thing and then something else is happening and I'm...
Someone in chat says, what if we kiss in the Pac-Man maze? Haha, just kidding. Unless...
That was risky of me. Okay. Ooh!
Yeah!
Just made it so good.
Amazing! I'm like in awe. That was a really cool, like, intense game.
It's like it's one of the most fun things to watch, like people who are like high level play against each other. Like that's the other thing that I'm like excited as more and more people get better at this game, is watching a bunch of people who are very good at the game playing with each other. Like that's one of my favorite things when we play amongst the studio, because obviously we have all like a year to play this
Lots
game
of practice.
to get good at it.
Yeah, I feel like this has something for everyone, whether you're new to Pac-Man or like the original. There's something to jump into, and the challenge of seeing like other people playing it at the same time is really fun.
I really hope you guys love our game.
Yeah.
Like, I really like our game. I hope you guys like it too.
Yeah, we're really excited to share this game with all of you. It launched today. It was a lot of love, a lot of effort, and I'm really glad that this is the result because it is an amazing.
Thank you very much.
Oh.
Like, I'm so happy to hear that that you guys like it, that all y'all on the internet like it. People in the Twitch chat. We hope to make great games for you guys, and that this game is great for you as well.
So I think that'll be a great way to send it off. Thank you everybody for coming today. Hopefully I won't knock my mic over. And definitely catch us playing Pac-Man Megatunnel Battle tonight, maybe next week, whenever it is. Any hour of the day, Stadia's got you. And for that, I think we're gonna head out. Thanks everybody.
Bye.
Bye everyone. Thank you again, Stephanie, so much for joining.
Wow, another great addition to the Pac-Man catalog. If that gameplay gave you FOMO, you need not worry. You can head to stadia.google.com for a free trial of Pac-Man Megatunnel Battle, so you can get in on the action firsthand. You saw how competitive that was with your own eyes and almost certainly be downloading that game after the show, and swiftly getting pummeled by the thousands of players who have better hand-eye coordination than I do. Our pack pageantry is winding down, so let's see what's up with our social media polls. Kind of get a result of how it's going. Fave Pac-Man movie cameo, Wreck-It Ralph seems to be pulling away. Tron is kind of a dark horse there, one of my favorites. Obviously, Wreck-It Ralph is a classic. Fave character from Pac-Man and the Ghostly Adventures is not close at all. Pac-Man is clearly going to be the leader of that. He is literally the star of the show that makes the most sense of all the polls. Tastiest Pac-Man fruit. Looks like Cherry's going to get this one. Apparently people don't like vitamin C because orange is coming in dead last on this one, which is kind of shocking. Favorite color of Ghost? Looks like blue and red are in a really tight race. Obviously, blue is my favorite color. Red could really pull ahead towards the end here. We'll see what's up. Fave Pac-Man song? It's going to be a tight one between Pac-Man by Weird Al Yankovic and Pac-Man by Gorillaz. Maybe people are confused because they're both just called Pac-Man. And the most liked version of Pac-Man, of course, is the classic Pac-Man. Pac-Land getting a small chunk of that, and Super Pac-Man also getting a small chunk. And the favorite way to play Pac-Man is, of course, the arcade stand-up. That is basically a runaway at this point, so I don't think anyone's going to be catching the arcade stand-up. Another salute and salutation to the social teams that put these polls together, as well as the Megatunnel Battle game. Make sure to follow Bandai Namco, Pac-Man Official, and the Comic-Con Museum on whatever social media is your jam. I'm planning my own Pac-Man-centric social media network called the Pac-Book. Actually, you know what? Maybe I'll drop the. Or maybe I'll drop this terrible idea altogether. Several times tonight, we've taken a look forward into Pac-Man's potential future. We haven't been the only ones to do that. In our final segment with Toru Iwatani, we get to hear his vision for what Pac-Man's future potentially holds, as well as the direction of the video game world at large.
そうですね。よく物語を作るのに一人の作家で作っていくんではなくて、世界の多くの人たちがこう一緒になって作っていくっていう試みもいろんなコンテンツであったと思うんですね。でそういう意味で、パックマンも、開発者、クリエイターが作るだけではなくて、世界の人たち、同じプレイをしている人たちが同時進行で何か、ストーリーを展開していくとか、どこそこの誰かがその先のプログラムを作ったとじゃあ乗っけてみようというような形でどんどんこう成長していくような、そんなようなゲーム作りもいいんじゃないかなというふうに思ってます。ちょっとゲームでスイッチのレジェンド・オブ・ゼルダの、ブレス・オブ・ザ・ワイルドっていうのがあるんですけれども、これがすごいいいゲームなんですよ。2017年に出たものなんですけども、ゲームバランスであるとか、それから少しずつプレイヤーに分からせようとする設計であるとか、もちろん企画のアイデアもいいですし、グラフィックスもいいですし、あとは、弓矢をあのように打ちたいとか、物をこう動かしたいってことが、もうストレスなく実現できるプログラムがすごいんですよ。で、このレジェンド・オブ・ゼルダの完成度の高さというものが、 大学で教えたいことが全部詰まってるんですね。あるいは今開発をする人々にとっても。そういう意味で、あれはもうどんどんやり込んでほしいし、あれと同じものを作りなさいっていうだけでもう大学の授業おしまいでもいいんですよ。で、私120の祠があるんですけど、ご存知でしょうか。120の祠3回クリアしたんですよ。ゲームを3回クリアして、今度4回目ぐらいにこうチャレンジしようかなと思うぐらいに、こう、素晴らしいものなんですね。そういう意味で、これからチャレンジしていきたいなというゲームであれば、やっぱりあのように、火の打ちどころないゲームをもう一度パックマンを題材に作りたいなというのが一つですね。で、次に、せっかくパックマン口を開けてるパクパクさせてるんで、食べるだけじゃなくて、今度歌でも歌ってみたらどうかというふうに思ってるんですね。歌を歌うパックマンですね。で、これはミュージカルみたいなゲーム、ものになると、ちょっと堅苦しいので、そうですね。ブルース・ブラザーズみたいな映画、ぐらいの入り方の音楽の入り方で、何かパックマンが歌うゲームができたら面白いなというふうに思ってます。で、あともう一つが、インナーゲームという概念なんですけども、今、このフレーム、スマートフォンであったり、PC であったり、こういうフレームの中を覗いて遊んでる、あるいは見てる、こういう時代になってますね。このフレームをなくしちゃう。フレームレスなもので何か表現できないかというふうに思ってますね。で、これはですね、もう頭の中で映像ができちゃえばいいんじゃないかというふうに思っておりまして、手塚治虫の漫画の火の鳥のムーピーの概念みたいなもので、その人の頭の中に映像が浮かぶようにしてストーリー展開したりゲームができるようなものですね。で、例えば日本の俳句の五七五の言葉はたかだか数十ビットなんですけども、静かさや岩に染み入る蝉の声っていう場所の句を聞くと情景が頭に浮かぶんですね。夏の暑い山奥、川が流れていて蝉の声が聞こえてくるって。で、そういう数十ビットの五七五のデータで情景が浮かぶのは、その人がいろんな経験をして頭の中に情報が入ってるからなんですね。野山に行ったりして蝉の声も聞いてる、人生を送ってるから引き出せる。そういう意味で、せっかく人間にはいっぱいのデータが頭の中に入っていて、で、それを引き出す、イメージする力がありますから、人間のイメージする力ともともと蓄えてきたデータをうまく活かして内なるゲーム、体の中からゲームが映像化されるようなものっていうものができないかなというふうに思っています。
Mr. Iwatani's generosity and care for all things Pac-Man and for all things video game related is a rare and beautiful thing, with every sentiment of his more profound than the next. It was truly an honor for me to be able to share that with all of you. We've covered a lot of ground here. We learned about the Comic-Con Museum and how you at home can be a part of history by becoming a charter member, kickstarting the Comic-Con Museum with your own personal gifts and contributions. We threw Pac-Man the best 40th anniversary this side of the maze. We heard from fans, Bandai Namco, sponsors, and creator Toru Iwatani, and got to watch some game action while taking a peek at Pac-Man's future. And most importantly, we had you all joining us for this occasion. Because that's what it's really all about. The museum isn't just a way to celebrate Comic-Con year-round. It's a way to celebrate the positive power of art, promote the thoughtful wonders of education, and of course, you, the people who make this event what it is. Absolutely none of this is possible without the fans. We may have had humble beginnings, but it is the loyalty that folks have for comics and related popular art that creates an environment for it to grow. Your contributions, your membership, your appreciation for what this place can represent is what brings us together. So when this is all over, if you feel so inclined, become a museum superhero and contribute to the cause. We'll keep expressing our gratitude and thanks all the way through the opening of the Comic-Con Museum in 2021. We cannot wait for you to come through these doors. The vision has always been to celebrate art in its many forms and education in a way that is both informative and fun. thereby creating a community of fans and those who may be new to these areas of popular art and culture. Once we hit the ground running, you'll be privy to the world-class educational programming, events, artistic promotion, and the building of community strength. That carries over to Pac-Man. We are able to include this icon in our growing Hall of Honor because of your love for him, and he loves you right back. This appreciation for Pac history is what has made this year-long 40th anniversary celebration so special, and it's a story that is still being written. Sometimes it's more than a game, more than an escape from reality. It's about a shared experience, and Pac-Man has been delivering that opportunity over and over for almost half a century. So one more time, thanks, Pac. I'm on a first-name basis with Pac-Man, which is really cool, but he still won't answer my texts, so you can't really win them all. We also have a final message from our distinguished creator, Toru Iwatani.
今回のパックマンの殿堂入りに関しましては大変光栄に思っております。2020年はパックマンがアーケードでデビューしてから40周年を迎えた年です。こんな特別な機会に皆様と喜びを分かち合い、世代を超えたゲーマーたちがパックマンを支えてくれたことに感謝したいと思います。アーケードから家庭用ゲーム機と本当に多くの方に長い間親しまれ、さらにお子様と一緒にプレイしていただけるということについてはとてもありがたいことです。パックマンのファンの皆様、本当にありがとうございます。私はパックマンを作りましたが、パックマンを今日のようにビデオゲームのアイコンに育て上げたのは皆様の愛と絶え間ないサポートのおかげです。もう40年も経ったという事実に驚いていますが、だからこそ楽しい時は時が経つのが早いと言われるのでしょう。皆さんのご健康をお祈りするとともに、これから皆さんと共に楽しい未来を作っていければと思います。
Another thank you to our sponsor eBay, our partner brands, and to Bandai Namco Entertainment and the Comic-Con Museum for putting this all together. And that gratitude also extends to Toru Iwatani for lending his time and genius-level wisdom to the Induction, along with Tadashi Yamashita, Canterbury Productions, and Show Imaging Studios. And most importantly, we want to thank you at home for tuning in. We hope you've enjoyed this celebration just as much as we've enjoyed bringing it to you. If you're still feeling riled, risky, and ready to keep the party going, we've got a special treat lined up. One thing that was missing from tonight's event was a musical guest, and there was absolutely no chance we were going to leave you high and dry without one. It's our distinct pleasure to turn it over to the official after-show entertainment, DJ Kenichi. This man is a staple of Japanese techno and was responsible for the official Pac-Man 40th anniversary song, Join the Pac. You'll get to hear that and more, and we hope you stick around to see this incredible DJ do his thing. Enjoy the after show, keep calm, Pac-Man on, and good night.
Hello, this is Ken Ishii. Congratulations, Pac-Man, for your 40th anniversary and being selected as Character Hall of Fame. I'm very much honored that I produced the official theme track of the anniversary, and I'm here to play some music. Join the pack.
Join the pack.